are gross and proud, even with the blow. Oh, life has to flow.
So you will see in the chat that someone have dropped the message about technology, Zoom functionalities. For those who are not familiar, Salu will be giving us some information on how to use Zoom. I think most of us now are experts in this area that we have been using for ages now. I think we're becoming experts. So, but if it's your first time or if you don't use Zoom more often, Salo will be dropping in the chat what we need to make sure that the webinar goes well. 1 minute to see if there are more people joining us and if everyone is sorted. Meanwhile, you can drop in the chat where you're attending the webinar from and maybe your name, so we know who we have with us this morning or maybe afternoon. It might be evening. So please let us know where you are. Give us a thumbs up if you're good and ready to go. Yeah, I think we're good. Sandrine?
Everyone present? Should we wait for a few more minutes or should we go ahead? Should we start? Perfect.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Right, welcome everyone. Hello, a long time. Hope everyone is well. This is gonna be an exciting webinar. We've been waiting for this moment for a long time. So let's just enjoy, let's just participate. But before we start, my name is Sandrine, I'm from Rwanda. And I want to welcome you all to this important webinar on awareness creation on the reality of the impact of menstruation or period poverty on mental health. So I'm honored to co-host this today with my colleague Karine, as we gather virtually from different corners of the globe to discuss this pressing issue that affects countless individuals worldwide. I'm going to welcome everyone here, but I also want to welcome Faniri, the Africa Region Chair and World Board Member, to give her our official opening. So we can start this officially. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandrine. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. It's with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to this webinar. Every year, Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated on May 28th. Each of us has a right to bodily autonomy and the ability to take care of our body while menstruating is an essential part of this fundamental freedom. Yet, an estimated 500 million girls and women around the world are facing challenges such as lack of access to menstrual products and adequate facilities for menstrual health.
No, is it?
Most of those who are facing such challenges are girls and women in the Africa region, unfortunately. Indeed, not only does poor menstrual hygiene undercut fundamental rights, including the right to work and to go to school, for women and girls and people who menstruate, but it also affects their physical and mental health. 2 days away from this annual celebration, it's worth raising awareness and discussing the barriers, challenges, and stigma around menstrual hygiene as they hinder girls and young women from reaching their fullest potentials. Over the past few years, including this year, the Yes Girls movement, with the support of partners such as WASH United and NOREC, and WOC staff and volunteers, have been running educational programs and campaigns to help girls and young women to properly manage their hygiene, to break barriers, taboos, and stigma around menstruation. So far in the Africa region alone, 100,000 Girl Guides and Girl Scouts have been empowered through non-formal education and confidence building to manage and speak out about their feelings. I would like to extend my very special appreciation to the WAGS-NOREC collaboration, which supports the Red Pride as one of the core initiatives of the Yes Girls movement. As we are starting this webinar, I would like to recognize and thank the following people for their contribution. First, Mrs. Anna Segol, WAGS CEO. Thank you, Anna, for your support to the Africa region in general and to the MHM initiative in particular. I would also like to thank Mrs. Robina Santumbwe, Global Manager to the Yes Girls movement for a number of years now. Thank you so much, Robina, for your able and inspiring leadership and for your amazing contribution to nurturing girls and young women to become leaders and change makers in their MOs and their communities. I would like also to thank the MOs that have embraced MHM as a priority area for the girls. Thank you also to the planning team that has put together the activity pack for the Red Pride Week, including this webinar. The WAGS Yes coordination team includes the Yes task force members from the MOs. So thank you everyone for your amazing work. I would like also to thank members of the WAGS strategic partnership team and other volunteers who have contributed to the webinar planning. I'm especially happy to recognize the fact that the composition of the planning team was mostly young women, supported by a few staff members and volunteers. This showcases a good example of young women taking the lead and taking action. My special thanks goes to our WAGS long-standing partner, NOREC, that has supported the Yes Girls movement since 2015 to date. And also very special thanks for the support to the Red Pride Core initiative once again. Also, a very special recognition as well for the presence of WASH United that has worked very closely with the Yes Girls movement to adapt Rose's words, a resource that is so widely used for MHM work in many WAGS MOs. In this regard, I would like to thank Ms. Ina Jorga, WASH United representative, who is also one of our panelists today. I'd like to thank as well all the panelists from the Africa region, as well as Asia Pacific region, namely Dr. Helga Mutasigwa from Tanzania, Sharada Seregan from Malaysia, Mubashirwa Eshika from Bangladesh, Oza Agbontain from Ghana. Thank you so much for sharing with us your thoughts and experience in this field. Not to forget all of you chief commissioners, MO representatives, young women and leaders who are taking the time to attend this webinar. May this webinar empower all of us to take further actions and help many more girls and young women to handle menstrual hygiene issues. To end my opening address, I would like to open this webinar, and I wish you all a fruitful and enjoyable webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shea. That was a great speech, and as you officially open this, it can't be fun without songs and videos from Yes Girl. So we will have our first song for today, which is Red Pride song. So the tech team will play it just to put the touch of Yes Girls, the fun part of Yes Girls in this webinar. So we're bringing it as well. So not only speeches for this webinar, there are also a part that is fun. So let's start with the first video for today, Red Pride song. Yeah, the video is in slow motion. I don't know if that was by purpose or if it's some technology problems, but we could see that it was in slow motion. Technology always. So technology always happens, and that's the best part that we have learned about technology, patience. So when technology doesn't work, we just need to have patience. Meanwhile, while the tech team is collecting the technology, we will welcome Ina to do an activity for us, connecting the dots, and then we will come back to the video later when it's working properly. Ina, welcome.
Thank you, and a very good morning. Sorry, to everyone. I'm absolutely excited to be again part of the WAGS and Yes Girls Red Pride Week. It's always one of my most favorite events, because, and also to see your events that as part of the Red Pride happened this week already. I'm watching out on social media, so I see you, and I see you in all your red dresses and wearing bracelets, so that's fantastic. I wanted to do a small activity, and for those of you who joined us last year, maybe you know it already, but I think it's nice as a kickoff. So this theme is We Are Committed To, and you all know the menstruation bracelet. So I wanted to do a small activity called Connecting the Dots, which is very close to the yarn game in Rosie's World or Le Monde de Rosalie, and to see who is here, how we connect the dots of everyone here being from all the different countries joining this Red Pride webinar. So here's a map, and my idea is that we put in dots where you're based, and then we're connecting them. So for example, I'm just starting with the activity. I'm based in, give me a second. I'm based in Germany. And I know our dear friend and Yes leader, Wébinaire, is based in Uganda. So we're connecting the dot. And you probably also know Akisha, who's also here. She's in Malawi, and we're connecting the dot likewise. So I want to know where you're based. Type this in the chat box, and then I'm adding a dot. So I'm just going into the other mode, and I'm connecting the dots. In the meantime, I mean, we do this very we don't do this now. Just type your names and MO countries in the chat box, and I'm doing this while the webinar goes on. And then at the end of the webinar, I show you how we all connected the dots over this webinar, and I'll show you the map again. So I've already noted Ghana. I noticed, oh yeah, Bangladesh. That's why I put on the world map, Lebanon. So that's fantastic. So Madagascar, Tanzania, Madagascar, Kenya, again, Madagascar, Uganda, Zambia, Senegal. Yeah. So I'm doing this over the webinar, and I show you the map once again. So yeah, and then back to you, Karine, for Karine and dear moderator, for continuing with the webinar.
Thank you, Ina. I like that activity. I think last year we did it as well. True, yeah.
I wanted to, you don't have so much time, so I'm doing this in the back. I'll show you the results later.
Thank you very much. Sandrine?
Yes, Moving on. So today I want to again remind you what this is about. It's about awareness creation on the realities of the impact of menstruation or period poverty on mental health. So menstruation is a natural part of a woman or girls, but unfortunately it's still accompanied by stigma, shame, and inadequate access to menstrual hygiene products in many parts of the world. This lack of access to basic necessity leads to what is known as period poverty, where individuals face challenges in managing their menstruation with dignity and affecting the overall well-being. So with that being said, as Karen mentioned, this is not only about talks, it's also about fun. There are songs, there are recorded skits, which is the next part. The tech team is going to help us on that. We have a recorded skit. Hopefully, technology is not going to fail us this time. So tech team, take away.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes, Grace.
Yes, yes.
Not too much, just hanging out. How are you?
I'm good. I'm on my period though, so I'm feeling a little down.
Oh no, that's hard.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Actually, talking about it really helps. It makes me feel I'm not alone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get bad cramps and mood swings when I'm on my period.
Really? I had no idea.
I don't talk about it that much, but it's a real thing. PMS is not a joke.
I know, right? It's not just about the physical symptoms. My mental health can even take a toll on me.
Yeah, this thing is serious.
Hi guys. What are you talking about?
Periods.
Oh, Rose, do you really have to talk about it? Yeah, Emma, we have to talk about it. It's an important topic. You know, the mental health impact because of the menstruation.
Huh? How so?
Menstruation, let me tell you. For the hormonal changes alone causes mood swings, irritability, and anxiety. And above all, the physical discomfort alone can be stressful.
It's so funny how we talk about mental health, but we don't really talk about how periods affect it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stigma around period and women's health in general, but it's important for us to break down and have a conversation like this.
Agreed, and it's not just women who are affected by menstruation.
You're right, I didn't really think about it that much. Thank you for enlightening me.
What are friends for? Back on that, guys. I wanna watch a movie and take some ice cream. Who is with me? Yeah! Let's go!
Even when it rains, we enjoy the ride. And with all the pride, red ride. Even when it rains, we enjoy the ride. And with all the pride, red pride. Even when it rains, we enjoy the ride. And with all the pride, red pride.
Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you, Grace, and thank you to the girls who have put it together, this skit. Yeah, it's not something shameful. We need to keep talking about this. We need to keep opening this conversation. So thank you very much. That was beautiful. Now I will welcome Anna Siegel, WAG's CEO, to give us some special remarks for this day. So special person to give us some special remarks for today. Anna, welcome.
Thank you, Karine. It's lovely to be here with all of you. Can you hear me? Sounds okay? Yep.
Yeah.
It's a really important topic, and I just wanted to start with something very personal, which is how great it is to see how much things have changed since I was a 15-year-old. When I think that periods affect, women between 15 and 50 and probably younger and probably older, to think that it's something that we haven't been able to talk about, and women of my generation weren't allowed to talk about. I mean, my mum was unusually open about these things, I think because she was a biology teacher. But when I was at school, there was a girl in my class who started her periods who didn't even know what was happening, and she was terrified and upset. Girls were made fun of if people knew they had their periods, if there was any blood showing. It was a totally taboo subject and people were embarrassed to talk about it. So the video that you just showed really spoke to me very strongly. And I think for a movement of girls and young women, and with our big picture, long-term vision for the movement of an equal world where all girls can thrive, I think that the work that WAGS is doing and our member organisations are doing with support from NORAC and with support from WASH United, I think it's really, really important. I was in Bangladesh in 2015, 2016, when I was on the board of WaterAid. And it was again something where I was really pleased to see the difference between when I was a kid and what's happening now in a lot of societies. There's still an enormous amount of work to do, but we visited a school in the north of Bangladesh, and the kids were talking about periods, a mixed group of boys and girls, and they were all talking about it and they were comfortable to talk about it. The teachers were talking about it. We had sessions with parents and kids, and both the fathers and the mothers were conscious of the enormous impact that periods and not talking about periods and not looking after girls when they're having their periods or providing what they need, what that consequences that has for mental health, for physical health, for access to education, for work. I mean, there are kids who can't go to school in some communities if they don't have the period products that they need. And even in some countries which are relatively wealthy, there are girls who don't have access to the right sort of products to take them to school and to deal with their periods with safety and with dignity. And one of the things that I think is really interesting to think about is the interplay between menstruation and gender inequality. I've often thought if it were men who menstruated, it wouldn't have been a taboo topic. It would have been adequately financed by governments. It wouldn't be something that we were embarrassed about. So I think the work that we're doing together to raise awareness of the importance of dealing with our periods once a month, every year for many, many years, that's a thing that's a really important piece of work that we're doing. Firstly, girls are no longer embarrassed about their periods. It's something that all of us have. It's something that we need to know how to manage. It's something that society should accept. It's something that society needs to ensure that everybody has the facilities and the products and the space and time that they need to manage their periods with dignity so that they can get on with the rest of their lives with dignity. I think it's a really important issue also in terms of how we show up in the world. And I think that's one of the things that was particularly nice in seeing both the skit and the song. This is not an issue to be embarrassed about. It's who we are. We all have periods. Let's be proud of them while we have them. And it's interesting now at my age, post-periods, the taboo about menopause is now something that's also starting to be talked about. So living our lives as girls, young women and older women, we are who we are, we have the bodies we have, let's be proud of them and let's own them. And I think that's part of what the Girl Guiding and Girl Scouting movement is here for girls and young women to have fun, to be who we are, to own ourselves and our bodies and be able to live our lives and run our lives the way that we want to do that. So I wanted to just thank all of the girls and young women and Girl Guides and Girl Scouts who are working on this topic. It's really important. It makes a difference in the lives of a whole generation of women and for the whole of their lives. I want to thank our partners, WASH United and NORAC. I want to thank the Yes Girls. Do we say yes girls? Do we say yes women? For the work that you're doing on this really important topic. And I just want to say thank you for all of the work that you do, all of you. And thank you for the work that you enable others to do, because that work means that they can make changes in their families, in their friendship circles, in their communities, and encouraging governments to do better by girls and young women on this important issue as on other important issues. So I'll leave it at that, and thank you very much for the invite. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you very much, Anna. That was beautiful. And I like that you said that we need to live a life where we feel proud to be who we are. And period is part of our life. So we're not going anywhere and they're not going anywhere either. So we need to just live our life with it as we go. And we can't be ashamed of that at all. So thank you very much. Sandrine.
Thank you so much, Anna. So the next part is a bit exciting because we are welcoming AXA, and we are. She has something to share with us. We don't know what it is. She'll explain more. But allow me to welcome her. The floor is yours, AXA. Welcome.
No.
Thank you very much, Sandrine.
Akisa.
So now we'll go to another activity. We are going to play a little game. I hope all of us are ready. So the game is called bingo. Some can say bingo. I don't, depending where we are from, but it's bingo. Yeah, so I want all of us to participate. So what I would do, I'm going to pop a statement. So if that statement applies to you, like for example, if I say something, and you feel like, I think this is true about me, you switch on your video, your audio, and say bingo like this. Yeah, so for now, I want all of us to switch off our videos and let's remain muted. So, yes, let's switch off our videos. Our videos off. Okay, so, when I say a statement, and if you feel like that statement is true to you personally, you switch on a video, your audio, and you say bingo, like all of us are going to be saying at the same time. I'll keep on saying, and then until we get to the end. Just thumbs up if you have got the explanation. Thumbs up. If I see 2, 3, then I will know we are ready to go. Thumbs up. Okay, yeah, so it means that people are ready. So the first statement goes like, my period cycle lasts on an average of 28 days. My period cycle lasts on the average of 28 days. Videos.
Bingo.
Bingo. Seems like most of us are 28. Yeah, so it's true. Like for some people, sometimes it can last 21, an average of 21. So maybe that's why some people didn't say bingo, and it's okay. Okay, our videos off. Audios, please. Our videos off. Now our second statement. Between 9 to 14 years of age, I got my first period. Between 9 to 14 years.
Bingo!
A lot of us are bingoing, so that's most of us. And some people get area, it's okay, but this is the most age when people get their periods. Okay, our videos off. Okay, let's be muted, please. The third statement is gentle exercise and applying heat on my abdomen helps me reduce pain and discomfort during period.
Bingo! Bingo! Bingo!
It's all in the eyes.
Some people can even eat iron-rich food. Now we are going to another statement. Let's move fast. I told my aunt when I got my first period. I told my aunt when I got my first period.
Bingo.
Yeah, I know that one. People are going to be silent. It's not common that people talk to their aunts, but just know that you can tell anyone you want, whoever you want during your period. Okay, when you start your period, sorry. Now another statement is like, I always throw my used sanitary pad on the ground. I always throw my used sanitary pad on the ground. Some of you say bingo. Are you sure you don't throw on the ground? Okay. I know that's not proper. So most people, they rub in the newspaper and put in the bin. Okay. So another statement. My periods started becoming irregular again, or I reached my menopause at the age of 42 to 50 years.
Bingo.
Aki something 20-year-olds also saying bingo.
I'm wondering. Okay, we are remaining two statements. Another statement goes like, let's switch off our videos. I believe I can do anything I want during my period.
Bingo.
Last one. I change my sanitary pad every 2 days. I change my sanitary pad every 2 days.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, it's not proper to take that long, so you usually change between 4 to 8 hours. So that was thank you. Over to you, Karen and Sandrine.
Thank you very much, Akisa, for a beautiful game. When you said the last one, I changed my sanitary pads 2 days. I was like, do I change them 2 days? And I was like, no, that's not true. So thank you very much. And also, I would like to appreciate that you didn't only take into consideration just young women. So you took also into consideration of some people who are in menopause or after menopause in the statement. So thank you very much. Everyone felt included in the game. So our next part of the webinar, we are going to be more focused into today's topic, and we are speaking to expertise. So we will be welcoming different people in different areas of work that will be talking to us a little bit about menstrual hygiene, so who are experts. So our first speaker for today is Dr. Helga Mtasingwa. She's from Tanzania, and she will be giving us an overview of how does this affect, how does periods affect women on side of mental health and everything, but she will be giving us an overview as a doctor. So Helga, welcome, and the floor is yours. Is Helga online?
Yes. Hi,
Excellent.
everyone. Yes. So I want to share a slide, and I wanted to make it short. And I'm thankful for this kit because they really introduced, and that showcases that we are a little bit aware of the experiences on menstrual hygiene, but also on mental health. Mostly, I think I'd want to ask you can share in the chats, what was your experience of MENAC? When you had your first period, how did you feel emotionally? How did you feel, you know, were you fearful? Were you excited? Were you worried, scared? Please feel free to share in the chat. And I'd want to relate with my first experience when I had MENAC. So for me, the first time I was 12 years old. So I was in that age group that Akisa mentioned. And it was like the first time I had it, I had the cramps. Like the first day you're at school and you have cramps. And for me, the first time I had, I think it was 8 days. So that was my first experience. And I think it was the lowest time because it was painful. I spoke to my mom, but then when somebody tells you this is the experience you get every month for the rest almost of your life, over 30 years, it's very confusing. So it was very down. I would walk on the road and look at the women and ask myself, are they really experiencing what I'm experiencing? Why are they always happy? Because it comes to the conversation of not speaking about this. We have said about, you know, it is a taboo not speaking about this, especially in African cultures. So considering that that was the first time you speak with your mother, and it's not like you're going to speak with your sisters. Right now, I think thanks to the Red Pride, Rosie's World, Ruby's World, we are able to speak about this. So this also actually contributes to the mental wellness of this area around menstrual hygiene, health. It contributes in a sense that it's always it's always the lowest time. And as we continue also, it comes, the skit said, you know, the hormonal imbalance. So with menstruation, we are aware of the main two hormones, progesterone and estrogen. Forgive the the language, but these are the two basic hormones when you speak about menstruation we have. And estrogen mostly, there's a time that it gets to be low during the menstrual cycle, which we are all aware. I thought about taking this conversation in a sense that last year we spoke about mental health, we had basic things, we knew the menstrual cycle. So trying to relate the experiences we have and also the emotions that you get to go through. So when estrogen is very low, and it's scientifically, it has been linked with the happy emotions, the serotonin. So when it gets below, that's why you find ourselves that we are mostly very down. We are, most of the girls also have the conversation of PMS, premenstrual syndrome, like that is the time. And it's very normal because you can feel, you know, you can be upset, you can be nervous, you can be anxious. And that's what we have in the charts around that time. It's very normal. But when it gets to be extreme, that's when we have the conversation or the term that you have called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD. I think when you have that conversation or when you explore, that's when it comes into the abnormality. And I'd want to relate when we had the other conversation, I'm assuming most of us who were there, when we speak about mental health and mental illness. Mental health is the same as as physical health, you know, not having any abnormality. So it should not be seen as an abnormal or as a taboo when you speak about mental health. It should be very normal that I'm taking care of myself mentally, physically, socially, as the WHO definition. So we should be very comfortable to speak about it. And when I speak about mental health, that means when I'm sad, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, it's very normal because sometimes also the illnesses physically, it can be up and down. But when it gets to be very extreme, when you get to hear that you have severe depression, you have trouble focusing, you have panic attacks. Now, those are going to be the mental disorders. And those are the experiences that it gets to be seen as extreme, and you need to see an expert or go to a psychologist for services, for care and checkup. So for the girls, when we have the menstruation, we need to understand that it's very normal to be scared, to be a little bit, under the weather. It's because of the hormones. And we should, as I say, the skit has said everything on how we get to work out, we get to engage, and especially to speak and share with our friends, because it's not a taboo. We are very proud. Let's share, let's have a conversation. I'm feeling down, I'm not happy, engage, because it gets to really help you mentally. But then when it gets to be very extreme also, we have to help each other and refer to an expert so that we can really get the best ways. And such examples, as I said, depression and, fatigue. And I think the most recent case, the one I remember was, there was a girl who killed herself. I think it was in Kenya. The ones in Kenya, you can confirm with me, because she was bullied in school. And then she committed suicide. This was the exact situation that led to the menstruation, the bullying in school, because she identified her skate, I think, at school, and the boys bullied her around, and then she decided to take this decision. So when we speak about mental health, when we speak about menstruation, it comes in a sense that there is some linkage. That was the one case that was spoken. We do not know how many experiences that our fellow girls and women have, and they're not able to share and to speak or to seek for help, because it comes with different things of the taboo. We do not have sanitary pads. We do not have enough money. That also increases the stress with the situation we have. So such experiences affect most of us. And having a community, having a conversation, engaging gets to help us, especially mentally. So this is just in a nutshell to relate and to make the comfortability and the awareness that we have this experience, but also it links with a mental health or a mental disorder sometimes. And then we should be comfortable seeking help and engaging each other for our own well-being, physically, socially, and mentally. Thank you all. I think if we have some questions or chats, I'll be happy to engage.
Thank you very much, Helga. We will have questions after, so we will have all the panelists, and then we will take time for questions. After. It might be questions, or if you want to share something. I know Helga have asked us what was our experience for the first period. So if someone also wants to share those experiences, we will have time for that. Sandrine?
Thank you so much, Karim. Our next panelist, please help me welcome Sharada Sregan. She's from Malaysia, and she'll be mainly talking about why young women's health should be prioritized, and should be prioritized as an important issue. And she will be talking in terms of policymakers and decision makers. So please allow me to welcome Sharada. Sharada, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an incredible honor to be here and to just see all of the talks that has been going on so far. It's been incredibly amazing to see the work that has gone into this space. So when we speak about menstruation, there's a lot to look at from a health aspect. It's not just the hormonal fluctuation that happens. There's a lot of physical discomfort that one may experience as well, such as cramps, muscle pain, and in some cases, when they don't have good access to all of these products, a lot of shame is associated with it as well. While the physical discomfort may also lead to psychological distress, irritability, and decreased self-esteem, while the body already goes through so much of these changes, what further worsens the situation is that when period poverty is present, more than 35% of the world's population lacks these necessities, those belonging to marginalized sections especially, face the brunt of lack of access to water, sanitation, hygiene facilities, affordable menstrual supplies, and inequitable distribution of menstrual health education, and are victims of period poverty. Without proper access to these means, it leads to insecurity, increased self-consciousness, and is often associated with shame. This deters girls and women from enrolling and attending school or maintaining their employment, jeopardizing their future educational opportunities and livelihood prospects. In some cases, some women and girls may experience depression because of menstruation-related taboos as well as stigmas. Some discriminatory practices during period may affect the self-esteem of our young girls. For instance, in some places in Egypt, schoolgirls reported that they do not bathe during their menstruation because it is considered a social taboo to come in contact with water during the menstrual cycle. That hugely affects their health in itself because that increases chances of a lot of infection. And with this infection and with the order, sometimes it also causes psychological distress because you don't want to meet people, you don't want to go to gatherings, you don't want to attend schools, and this causes quite of a lack in their own side later on as these continue to progress. In some areas in Nepal and India, for instance, girls were forced to stay in a hut or sleep in the fields during their period, even though the government had decreed this practice as illegal. COVID-19 is a famous topic all of us talk about all the time. And unfortunately, it has a negative impact when it comes to period as well. So COVID-19 triggered a massive 25% rise in common mental health problems of anxiety and depression worldwide. About 49.4% of women experiencing period poverty had depressive symptoms compared to 28.6% of women who had not experienced menstrual poverty. And another effect could be a 40% increase in versus 24.1% in those that do not experience period poverty. This link between period poverty and depression is very significant, and it's a huge number. With that being said, future research should focus on women from racially and ethically diverse backgrounds to assess the generalization of these results, because most of these have been focused more on the Western side, while a lot of these issues are prevalent in both the Africa as well as the Asia region. WAGS has been committed in breaking the barrier when it comes to menstrual health, mental health education, trainings, and making menstrual health products such as sanitary towels more accessible and affordable has been a huge area of which WAGS has been working on. And not to mention the Red Pride Week, which has been a flagship event, which has been carried out amazingly by the team through the activity packs to ensure that girls are more aware of menstruation hygiene, they are breaking the taboo and speaking about these issues more openly as well. But what makes it even more different in our space is that the inclusivity of young women in this. They are not just on the receiving end of these programs, but instead they are involved in the entire building of these projects. And in a lot of the projects that I'm involved in, something that I often say is that young women have got the capacity to voice out and tell you what exactly it is that they need. What we need is a platform to enable these young change makers to make the change they wish to see and to build a world they hope to be a part of. So when we speak about interventions addressing period poverty, needs to rely on mustering a collective community voices and deploying adequate policy tools. While there is so much of awareness that we continue to make in this space, it is important to acknowledge that a lot of these needs to be policy changes that needs to be done to ensure that there's a long-term commitment in ensuring both the psychological effects of our girls as well as the menstrual health itself. Oops, sorry. Okay, I can't mute, sorry. So all the efforts and solution must provide social and financial protection nets and psychological first aid through mental health support groups. So this is something that would be achievable through policy changes, for instance. In some countries, there are mental health care packs that are provided for their citizens, where you're able to take some sort of a subscription of subsidized mental health therapy when it is needed. Unfortunately, this is not something that is widely spread or is available in a lot of countries. So policy changes would make these much more affordable for people to be able to experience. It is called to drive menstrual health equity for all menstruators, irrespective of who they are, what they do, and where they live. And this is not something that can be done by one person or one group. It is a collective voice that needs to be done holistically to ensure that girls everywhere feel safe during their menstruation and also feel protected. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Radha. So now we will welcome Mubashirwa Eshika from Bangladesh. She will be comparing her experience from Zambia and where she comes from. So she was a yes participant in Zambia, or maybe she is now, I may be mistaken. So she will be giving us a comparison between the two cultures and two countries, which are completely different. But she will let us know her experience in terms of period poverty between both countries, where she's from, and in Zambia, where she was part of YES program. Eshika, you're welcome. Eshika, please unmute yourself. She's muted. So Eshika, will come back to you. So maybe let's start with Ina, and then we'll be back to Eshika when her microphone and her it's working. So Ina, welcome.
Hi.
Hi again.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you as well for the opportunity. And I can only second the previous two speakers, Helga and Sharada. They make such a good case why those two topics belong together, how they interact, and that it's really should be girl-led, girl-empowered to make those changes. So there's not so much I want to add. I could add actually to those two excellent speeches. I want to address a couple of other points. My first point is that it's good for girls to know what changes are biological changes because of hormone changes. And Helga has shared some of those effects like this depression, as well as mood swings, and those who are external mental health challenges, like the stigma around periods, the restrictions and limitations girls face, and how they make them feel. So while the biological changes are a bit difficult to cope, maybe with some to deal with, but the others, girls should be empowered to be able to deal with it. And to deal with it, and that's where education comes in so powerful. My second point is that both issues have been stigmatized, and it's great to see both issues becoming more vocal, because only if we break the silence on menstrual challenges, on mental health challenges, and maybe even how they belong together, only then we can demand change and provide also think about solution to those challenges, being it counseling, being education, and so on. My third point is really about this breaking the silence. The girls are here at the forefront, and women and girls will experience it. But again, I emphasize what was said before. We need the whole community. We need parents, caretakers, teachers, as well as health professionals. I think here really think about health professionals being acknowledging the different challenges that women and girls go through, being it biological or even mentally. And and girls and women should be comfortable addressing those with those professionals, because yeah, it's not about being shamed about, but being aware that this is happening. And my fourth and last point is that while it's great to see really this huge attention to this issue growing, there needs to be more. This can only be the start, because there's so much to do, and we don't know how many women and girls suffer from mental health issues and menstrual health issues together. So we need more research that makes it much more clearer, because that guides then policymakers, that guides programs and program intervention, that they're really, really clear. And with that also, of course, funding. I mean, like we also, at least from WASH United's global perspective on Menstrual Hygiene Day, we demand definitely more investment into the issue. So that's what all comes together. So therefore, really my last point is, be not ashamed to talk about periods. Be not ashamed to talk about mental health, because really by voicing it, by making it clear that there are challenges, don't be ashamed on it, because there's no shame. There's no shame in having a period, because it's natural. There's no shame. There should be no shame in addressing mental health, because it is a fact that there are mental health challenges, and it's the mental health challenges. So and if you're not strong, or you don't feel strong enough, maybe you have a friend who can speak on your behalf first. So, and the more we go together, and the more we sing together in the same choir and be loud and vocal, change is possible in all fields. And actually, it's a saying beyond menstrual hygiene and mental health. And with that said, on Sunday is Menstrual Hygiene Day, and it's really funny because the abbreviation is MH Day, and it's the same abbreviation for Mental Health Day also taking place. So it's really great to see, actually, even from the acronym, it goes hand in hand. And yeah, be loud, be vocal during this week, and especially on Sunday. That small little contribution, but I'm also really looking forward to the next speaker to share the real concrete experience between two different countries. Thank you so much.
Here's the other link. If anyone has any problems still, just let me know.
All right. Can I just remind you too that we have a Q&A after this question and answer. Please note them down so you have them ready, and we will be able to answer them. Just want to check in, is Ishika ready now?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, please, welcome.
Yep, so someone can help me to share the PDF I have just shared with you on the group. So hello, everyone. Good afternoon from Switzerland and from our Charlotte. I am Mubashiruddin Ishika, and I am a ranger of Bangladesh Girl Guide Association. And as earlier, as one of our hosts mentioned earlier, that I am one of the YES alumni, and I was in Zambia for my exchange in 2020. And usually as a volunteer, the exchange time is supposed to be 6 months, but interestingly, it became a 10-month journey thanks to the COVID. I mean, COVID has bring a lot of things in our life, so it has actually give us a chance to stay there even during COVID. So yes, and I'm really thrilled to be here as a panelist, and as we are celebrating the Menstrual Hygiene Day and discussing the importance, connection between menstruation and mental health. And I will be talking in perspective from an Asian and a Bangladeshi, and as I was in Africa, so I will also share my experience. So can you just, yep, next slide, please. Yep. So yes, as you can see, ranger from Bangladesh, and currently I'm volunteering at our Charlotte. And yep, next slide. Yes. So Yes. So understanding the relationship between mental health and menstruation, it's really menstruation is not only a physical concern, but it's really interconnected with our mental health. Like almost approximately 20% of women, especially who are in low source settings, are really affected by menstrual hygiene. And I have really seen it in my country and as well as in Zambia. So when I was an exchange participant, I got to take session in different schools. And also back in my country, I have got the chance to take facilitate different sessions. So when I usually started to talk about menstruation, it became a little bit uncomfortable topic for some kids and for some young girl, because they are not that much comfortable to talk about it. But it's quite very common to see that people are really hesitating to talk about it. So it's like kind of common. So as if we have proper knowledge about the menstruation and all these things, then girls are definitely not going to be that much uncomfortable. And can we, yes, as we see, yes. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so battling stigma and misconception. So I'd say that when I was in Zambia, yes, I was about to go on a session. And what happened is I was on the day I was also on my period, and someone told me that I am not supposed to touch any plants. As you know, like we Bengali, we really love a lot of spices. So we had a chili plant just in front of our house. So when I took like some chilies from there, so someone saw me there and told me that, oh, you are on your period, you're not supposed to touch any plant. If you do it, then the plant might die. This type of myths also we have back in our country, that you're not supposed to go here, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to go to swim and all. So it's really important for us to addressing different type of stereotypical stigma, and also we have to address those misconception about menstruation. And if I talk about from the perspective of Asia and Africa, like almost half of the girls believe that menstruation is either a disease or illness. So they are really not that much confidence themselves, because they are not having the proper knowledge about it. And this really led them to have them being shame about themselves, and also it also like diminished their self-esteem. So there are different type of cultural stigmas and many misconceptions which we really need to talk about in front of everyone, so that we can talk about it more. And as we talk about it, we might know the proper knowledge and proper reasoning behind it, so that we can address those problems and eradicate those misconceptions. So can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. So there's overcoming resources. We really have limited access to menstrual hygiene when it's about the using menstruation products and also the knowledge on menstruation. Like if I give you statistics, which is all on the screen right now, like 1 in 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa miss schools just because of menstruation, because they don't have clean water, they don't have sanitation facilities and affordable sanitary products. And in some country right now, I am in Switzerland, and I'm volunteering at our chalet. So I just went to a super shop, and I just saw the price of a small packet of sanitary pad. I was really shocked that why it's so expensive here. So this is very important to address about and to talk more about menstruation, why it's really important in a girl's life, and why we should, why we are right now currently the whole world going through the menstruation, the period poverty. So we should address this, and probably if we can talk more about it, and we can really start a global movement on it, and then maybe different government of different countries can reduce the price of all this necessary product. This is really necessity of every girl. This is something which they need. It's not luxury, so it's not something has to be expensive. It should be something which is really affordable. So yes, can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So I am just going to talk about a few solutions from my end. Like empowering solutions. Like if we have sex education back in school and college, if then the girls and boys and everyone is going to be more familiar with it, and they will be able to eradicate those needs, and they will be able to empower girls. And it's really important because even though from a perspective of my childhood, I would say we had menstruation or our science book and also on our physical education book, but those chapters, sometimes our teachers are also not that much comfortable talking about it. They will just say that, okay, tomorrow we are studying on this chapter. You guys can go back home and study that by yourself, and then if you have any question, you can just let me know. But we should not do it, because it's really important for us to know about it from a very early age, I would say, because if we don't know about it, it's gonna be very difficult for every girls or every individual to help with someone who is menstruating or who is about to go to the adolescence period. So it's really important for everyone to know a proper idea about sex education so that it can empower girls. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yep. Empowering solutions, like promoting awareness and different type of campaigns is really important, because the more awareness we are going to create, the more people are going to know about menstruation. Because these days, like just if you look back a few years from now on, you're gonna realize that time only a handful people used to talk about menstruation or red pride, or even we used to have some like a code worded name for period like red signal and so on. So if we do more awareness campaigns on this particular thing, we really can address stigma, and we can have open conversation, and at the same time we can really create a supportive environment for those people who are menstruating. So next slide. And at the same time, it's really important for us to access, like it should be accessible for all of us to access menstrual hygiene product such as sanitary pad, tampons or menstrual cup. And all of us should really be strong and should try to address this problem, so that in some countries it can be so expensive, or some countries there are extra taxes on these type of products, but there are a few countries who are also like reducing the tax and also giving in some organizations they're also giving out free sanitary products to the people who are really in need. So it's really important it's really important for us to improve access on the menstrual hygiene products. So yep, for instance, Bangladesh. Yes, Bangladesh government has done a few things, which is like menstrual hygiene management program, and it has increased sanitary napkin access by 60% in a few targeted areas, and it's really important. And also from the perspective of the Yes Girls movement, Red Pride has been one of the best core initiative. I'm not being biased. It's just that it's really something which is really close to my heart. And Red Pride has been changing life of so many people. Whenever, like, starting from the Yes Girls themselves, there were so many things which I didn't know before taking the session on the Rosie's World. And then when I got to know, and then I got more enthusiastic to let and share my experience and share and to take sessions with many girls to talk about more about the Rosie's World and how the girl Rosie and her sister going through the whole period menstruation stage, and they're getting to know more things. And one of the significant things, can you go to the next slide? next slide. Yes. So it was really amazing. Even back in Zambia, when we used to go to tech sessions, when you used to talk about menstruation, some girls and some boys used to come up and, yeah, I used to know, I got to know about it from my sisters, and I try to support her. I try to help her during those days. If she's going through some mood swings, maybe I'm trying not to irritate her, maybe, or giving her some warm tea or some hot water bag so that she can feel better. And at the same time, I have also seen a lot of girls, like after taking the sessions, they're more open to talk about talk about menstruation, and they're also at the same time used to, like, after when we used to get feedback, they used to be like, all right, I didn't know this, but right now, after taking sessions, I know how many hours I should use a pad and how often should I change. What are the things I can do, and what are the things I can do to make my health better, and how can I follow the hygiene routine and all. So it's really amazing to see how a girl grow with all these sessions. Like it's like giving me nostalgia feelings. And back in Bangladesh, I also got to facilitate quite a few sessions on menstrual hygiene management, and reusable pad making has been a really life-changing activities, I would say, because while making reusable pad, like you can use it for about 3 months, and even sometimes for a few more months, I guess. So if you have like 2 to 3 reusable pad, it's more than enough for you to last long for about 3 to 4 months at least. So you don't have to buy those period products every single time. You don't have to like use all those monies and to buy all these products, and it's very affordable because it's in some rural place. If someone knows how to make this and how to maintain hygiene with it, it's really important, and it can be really supportive for them from the perspective of financial, from the perspective of from the perspective of financial, from the perspective of like reusing it. So it's really amazing. And the Yes Girls movement has been really working on it. Like every single country of the Yes Girls movement has been really working hard. And I would really like to address all other AMO who is representing in the webinar right now to know how we can make a reusable pad, and to know more about the Rosie's World, so that they can also facilitate all these sessions, and they can also teach other girls how they can make this reusable pad, and this can really change their life. I myself want to start using reusable pad, and I really have quite a few friends from different countries, from Asia and from Bangladesh and from Africa. They're using reusable pads, and they're also giving me like positive feedbacks. So it's really amazing. So if you want to try something new, try something environment friendly, probably this is it. This is your call. You can probably try to look up on the internet, on even look up on our WAG's website to more about the Red Pride and Rosie's World, and to more about how you can make the reusable pad. Yes, and can we move? Yes, it's just a few pictures of the ingredients we usually use to make reusable pads. It's not that much. It's something which we have around us all the time. It's just about taking your time to utilize them and make reusable pad and start using it. And yeah, it's going to be really environment friendly, and at the same time, it's going to be really nice for the environment. And before going to the conclusion, I just want to show you guys a small video on how our mood changes during a whole 1 month period, starting from our period, and how the mood swings, and how we have different vibe of our energies. So can we watch the video? I think I have shared the link. The video is really interesting, and I really think that every single of you can relate to the video.
I can share the video. I have it ready.
Oh, amazing. Yes, this is your period in 2 minutes. So buckle up and enjoy the journey. So as you can see, like this video has a lot of message. Stay hydrated, take care of yourself, and how all the hormones work, and however moods really change in a period of a month. So I think everyone could relate to the video, and do let me know in the chat box so that I can see and I can really also emphasize, or I could understand that, okay, it's not only me, there are other girls who are also going through the same period for a month. And can we go back to the presentation? And I'm almost done. And in conclusion, I'd just like to say that breaking silence and stigma is very important around menstruation, because if we know more about menstruation and how to manage it, and how we can keep ourselves more hygiene, more clean, how we can educate and share our experience with others, it's really important, because girls in Asia and Africa are now, I would say, now on a run to know better about menstruation, and they are going to be more confident and whatever they do. And I really want to see a world where where everyone is promoting positive mental health and enabling women and girls for their fullest potential, so that they can fly in the sky, and even while they're menstruating, So thank you so much, everyone. Together, we can create a world where menstruation is celebrated as a natural aspect of life, and ensure every woman and girl can thrive. Yes, and this is very common in our Yes Girls movement tradition, I would say. We always say, whenever we are doing anything regarding menstruation, Red Pride, or Rosie's World, we always say, my period, my pride. So I hope you all could enjoy my presentation. And yes, do left a lot of chats in the chat box. My period, my pride. Thank you, everyone. Have a great webinar session.
What? Wow. That was a wow. Ishika, great job. That was really, really amazing. Everyone here learned a thing or two or more. So because today's webinar, why we had this webinar today was the aim was, to shed light on the often overlooked consequences of period poverty on mental health. So because menstruation is not just a physical experience, but also an emotional and psychological one. So the lack of proper resources and support can have severe implications for individuals' mental well-being, leading to increased stress, anxiety, shame, and even depression. So thank you so much for sharing this with us, and congratulations to your country for doing such a great job. I mean, having increasing sanitary napkins or sanitary pads being accessible to more than 60%. That's like a huge milestone. We're just gonna give you like a virtual hugs and virtual claps, but well done. Thank you so much. Karine, you are on.
Thank you, Sandrine. So now we will move to the last speaker for today. Her name is Osa Agabote. I may pronounce her name wrong. I'm sorry, Osa. Osa is from Ghana Girl Guide Association, and they have been delivering MHM program in Ghana, and she will be giving us a little bit experience on that and why member organizations should prioritize mental health and also MHM life. So, Osa, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If the tech team could help project the presentation. Okay. So thank you very much once again, Akwaba from a part of the country, Karibu to everyone. So I am Osarima Bontine, a graduate of the Ghana Institute of Journalism and a member of the Ghana Girl Guides Association, currently serving on the National Youth Board as the Youth Executive in charge of the cadets team. I am a go-getter, articulate, and passionate about youth work and volunteerism. Ghana Girl Guides Association is a full member of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts WACS, with a current population of over 190,000 members with representation in all 16 regions of Ghana. Our engagements are mainly in schools and communities. So can you skip to the next 2 slides? The next one, please. So menstrual health and hygiene has always been a priority to GGGA. It is one of the foremost issues that affects the general well-being of girls and young women in Ghana and Africa as a whole. The theme for MHM Day 2023 is making menstruation a normal fact of life by 2030. So that means the underscored goal is to build a world where no one is held back because they menstruate by 2020. And we are excited to achieve that goal by 2030. Now, girls and women need access to wash facilities, affordable and suitable menstrual products, information on good practices, and a welcoming environment where they can effectively manage their periods without a cause to be embarrassed or ashamed, or even in some extreme cases, victimized. Therefore, having a conversation about MHM and mental health is key in this time and age. Menstrual hygiene management issues have been plagued with discrimination, disgust, traditions, myths, and perceived as gender problem. GGJ actively joined the menstrual hygiene management advocacy train in 2018 and has since developed a series of activities and programs all geared towards 2 goals, namely ending menstrual stigmatization and the removal of luxury tax on sanitary materials or towels. In 2019, the association initiated an online petition, Make Menstrual Pads Tax-Free, menstrual pads are a necessity, not a luxury. In 2020, we organized menstrual hygiene management program for the headquarters, popularly known as Kayaye in Accra. Now the association partnered with an organization called Kodu to conduct an educational outreach on the proper use of menstrual cups, and later donated about 150 menstrual cups to the headquarters who participated in the program. We also launched the period drive project, hashtag Red Alert 10K, hashtag a pad for her. Now this project was a call for donations to acquire 10,000 worth of sanitary products to be distributed to girls and young women in deprived communities. But looking at the positive response we received from donors, from the Girl Guides, from Friends of Guides, the target later moved from the 10K to 25,000 worth of sanitary pads campaign. So this slide, the next slide, please. The next slide, please. Okay, so this slide shows some of the pictures of our educational outreach, the donation. You can see a staff member somewhere they're packaging the donated sanitary pads. We also have our Chief Commissioner, Mrs. Zakia Abdul Wahab, also doing some demonstration on how to properly use the disposable sanitary pads. So the next slide shows a picture from one of our media campaigns. So we had representatives from the association visiting some leading media stations in the country to talk about girl guiding in general, and also focus on menstrual hygiene management and its importance. Like I stated early on, the Ghana Girl Guides Association submitted a petition to the Parliament of the country in a bid to inform and also tell and plead with the government to scrap the luxury tax placed on sanitary products. And this slide shows, the next slide, this slide shows a picture of a story I personally wrote in one of the widely circulated newspapers in the country to reiterate the demands of the Ghana Girl Guides Association and to underscore the importance of the scrapping of the luxury tax placed on sanitary products in the country. The good news is that last year we received a response from the Women Caucus in Parliament, responding to our letters, our petition, and the news stories that we have published and spoken about, and have promised to work on ensuring that the government scraps the 20% luxury tax placed on sanitary towels. Now, the association, to some extent, prioritizes mental health issues during its engagements, education and sensitization measures. The association focuses on reducing stigmatization and myths that surround periods. There are certain myths surrounding periods in our part of the world. Some people say menstruation is not normal. You are sometimes tagged as unclean and dirty, and you're not able to socialize with your friends and your peers just because it's your period and it's seen as you are filthy. But the lack of means for hygienic management of menstruation can cause discomfort and psychological stress that adds to the shame and sometimes depression that women and girls experience because of menstruation-related taboos and stigma. During our school and community outreach yearly, we acknowledge the psychological and emotional instability some women experience during their periods, leaving them in very vulnerable situations. GGGA, having identified high cost of period products, period poverty as also a contributing factor to some issues of mental health during menstruation, the association has done more advocacy work on getting government to scrap off the 20% luxury tax and 12.5% VAT on menstrual products. So in essence, it means that there's some 32.5% of tax placed on menstrual products. And we believe that when that tax is scrapped off, the sanitary products like the pads will be accessible and affordable to a lot of girls and young women, especially those in the deprived communities. Moving forward, in its subsequent engagements, GG hopes to focus extensively on mental health associated with menstruation to ensure that more needs are met. In our line of advocacy, we have encountered some challenges, some barriers. The first is religious beliefs. There are some religious beliefs that doesn't permit girls and young women to fellowship with their peers once they are in their period. Once it's known that you're your period, they're not allowed to enter your place of worship. You're not permitted to even socialize with your peers. And some of these religious beliefs are aligned with some of the cultural beliefs that you are unclean and you're not worthy to be known by that time, by that period, by your peers. There's also financial crisis. Sanitary towels are not affordable. Even the disposable sanitary pads are not affordable because of that luxury tax placed on it. So it becomes an issue for those who are in the deprived communities and may not be able to afford those sanitary products. We also have low access to social amenities. That's the washroom. Like I said earlier on, girls need access to wash facilities. It is one thing for the girls to have access to these sanitary products, and it's another thing for the girls and young women to have a safe place, a neat washroom for them to go to change their sanitary pads, change their sanitary products as and when it is full and it's time for them to change. And so this year, the Ghana Girl Guides, here's the next slide. And so this year, the Ghana Girl Guides Association distributed artworks calling on girls and young women across the country to share their story. They are permitted to share either via video or via word documentation if they've ever lost an opportunity or a job or a relationship or their dignity due to their inability to afford menstrual health products. If they've been told to stay at home, to confine themselves in a particular room, just because they are on their period. So we have called for girls and young women, not just Girl Guides, but Ghanaians as a whole, to share these videos, to share their word documentations, so that we can add it up to our voice to ensure that government listens to us and actually scraps that 20% luxury tax placed on sanitary towels and sanitary pads and other sanitary products. Now this year we have collaborated with Maiden and Gape to present a Red and Proud walkathon. So that will be taking place tomorrow at one of the leading malls in the country. That's the Accra Mall. We're walking from the Accra Mall through to other principal streets in the country to the National Training Center at Achimota. Now, the purpose of this walkathon is to raise funds and awareness for the menstrual hygiene management. So we need to raise more funds because we are doing our advocacy and we need the funds, we need the products to be able to constantly distribute these sanitary products to the girls and young women across the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asa. Now we are going to receive questions. I hope you jotted them down. Let's just go ahead and feel free to write them in the chat. Or if you want to speak up, you're gonna raise your hand, but make sure everyone else is muted. Right? If you want to ask questions, remember who you want to ask the question to, who you want to direct your question to, and yes, please let's go ahead and have this going on.
You can also use the chat box. So if you want to write in the chat, that's okay. Also, you can use the chat to ask questions. But it's not just questions as well. If anyone wants to give input, feedback about the topic of today, you're all welcome. So not only questions, it can be also comment or anything else. And there goes the silence.
Hello. I don't know where to raise it. Karin?
Yeah, go ahead, Nyoni. Is it Nyoni speaking? Who is speaking?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you, whoever organized the Red Pride. Thank you very much. I'm very happy with this Red Pride, the menstrual hygiene management, the mental change. It has really changed the lives of the girls. They can now speak out. They can now talk about everything about MHM, about their periods openly, even to their fathers, even to their brothers. They can say anything about their periods. Like last year, we involved, here in Malawi, involved men, we involved boys when we were training about MHM. I'm happy for this. It is really changing lives. By 2030, I think everybody will no longer, it will not be a taboo again. It will be like anything else. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nani. We have Lucy. You raised your hand.
Thank you so much for giving me the floor. And thank you so much to all our speakers today. My question goes to Ashada. You spoke about the special heart which girls are placed into the moment they have reached their menarche. And I remember a couple of years ago, there was also a story that was on the headlines saying that a girl died while in that special heart, somewhere else, somewhere in the Asian side. And I think that's where it's very common. Now, my question is, what can you advise to the Red Pride movement, to the Yes Girls movement, if they have to do an advocacy on? We do appreciate that that's culture and it cannot be ended maybe just by a word of mouth, but can there be a specific or particular advocacy that can be done at least to make it slow down, or maybe it's already slowing down in this 21st century? Thank you.
Lucy, who did you direct the questions to?
Shalda, I think.
Yeah.
Shalda?
Karen, go ahead.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if that was my name that was being called. Thank you so much for your question. I think when we speak regarding deaths that are involved in all of these cultural contexts, it's very important to take note of that there are a few barriers that need to be broken when it comes to that. And what makes it a struggle is that when we speak about these issues, the taboos are still very much implanted in the society. And it is amazing that as time goes on, we are educating our young girls, we are creating a new wave of change makers who look at these issues from a different angle, who understand it better, who are having more open conversations, and we're changing how the outlook itself to period is. It is indeed a positive change. As Anna had mentioned earlier, compared to 15 years ago, how things are going now, it's amazing to see the change that's going about in the space. And that itself, you can see currently, the change in the confidence the girls have. You know, no one else is referring to periods such as the shark attack or the red dot. We call periods as it is. We're calling it periods. And although that may just seem like such a small aspect of things, it is a huge change. Unfortunately, in some areas, especially the rural or the slum areas, where education is not as easily penetrated, or those places where young girls are not really sent to school as well, and education is not something that's easily available, and a lot of the education they receive is non-formal education from people that they have in their community. So in these cases, you see a lot of bias in terms of the delivery of education itself. If they've got two children with them, a boy and a girl, and they have to choose one person to educate, in a lot of these communities, they choose the boy. Coming from an Indian context, and I read about this a few years ago, where they said that a girl is going to leave the house, or if a girl has got a period, she's not going to be able to attend school. So it's a waste investment to put that much of money in a girl. But that is not the case. That is something that is changing. If you educate a girl, you're educating an entire society, because when you educate a woman, she's going to make sure that her children are educated, because she has seen the impact firsthand, how that has impacted her life. And by doing that, you're going to ensure that you're not just changing one girl's life, you're changing an entire generation. So coming back to period poverty and the suicide that's related with it, unfortunately, in some contexts, as much as we are working to change this bias, it is indeed an uphill battle when it goes to certain rural areas and slums. And funnily, in a lot of spaces, as we continue to speak about this openly, in some sort of cultural context, we sometimes might be labeled as too open, or, you know, this girl has been taught too much already. You know, she no longer respects the cultural boundaries in place. And look at her, she's being a disgrace to our community. And as funny as this is, it's all part of, you know, having this change, having this conversation. You've got to have thick skin when it comes to making changes. As much as it is applauded and you're given the support in the community, there's unfortunately always going to be people who still are comfortable and are resisting that change. But that doesn't mean that we should not push for that change. Young girls have got so much potential, and that is what all of us are here doing in our own capacity in different regions, making that change happen. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharada. Can we allow 2 more people to ask questions or to give their inputs?
We have Nabina raised hand. Nabina, you're muted.
Firstly, it was definitely an honor to be a part of this webinar. And since we all are directly or indirectly, we have like already worked in this field, and I'm just very thankful to all of our speakers for such an amazing thing. The way you have shared your experiences and the way you know, we can actually work in our community. It is kind of innovative, and we can definitely adapt those things. So as a whole, the webinar was very successful, and since I have been in here since I've joined it from the very beginning, I have found it very fruitful, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nabina. Looks like our panelists did a great job. It's very everything. Gertrude, did you raised your hand? But it looks like everything was well understood. Hopefully that's the case, because after presenting, there are only 2 things: either you didn't understand anything or you did understand all. So let's hope it's that you understood everything. And I think we have contacts for these panelists. Feel free to reach out to them after the webinar to ask more questions, personal, if you don't want to share here. But yeah, please feel free to do that as well. Yeah.
Gertrude, still waiting for you.
Gertrude is no longer online. So thank you very much to our panelists today. That was very useful and very informative. And judging from the chat, it looks like it was really good conversation that we had. So thank you very much, everyone. So we have two exciting things. The first one, Ina will show us connecting the dots. So let's see how we are looking on the map. Ina.
Yes, 1 second. Let me share the screen. Oh, 1 second. There's someone talking in the back. I can't stop it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Right. I don't know what's happening. My telephone froze.
Oh, okay. We can do the other fun part that I was talking about. Then we will come back to you, Ina, when your phone is unfrozen.
I unfroze it. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So as I promised earlier, I was connecting. I want to connect the dots. So I've counted those countries or people based in this country at the moment. So Germany, Uganda, Malawi, Thailand, Senegal, Rwanda, Madagascar, Tanzania, Nepal, Kenya, Lebanon, UK, Ghana, Zambia, Bangladesh, Serbia, Burundi, Tunisia, North Cyprus even, Madagascar, Vanilo, Malaysia, and Switzerland. So yeah, look at this beautiful connecting pieces, almost like the Red Yarn Gang. We're really all together in this today. Red, like as you said, we're all Red Pride. There's no shame in periods, and we're all connected.
Thank you very much, Ina. That's very beautiful. Yay! It looks like we're very, very connected. I can't believe that there were people from everywhere for this webinar. So thank you very much, everyone. Now, the fun part that I love the most, taking pictures. We can't end the webinar without photos. I love the part of taking pictures. So everybody, chin, chest up, look at the camera, smile throughout the time, because there's so many people. They will be taking pictures in different times. So you don't know when your picture's being taken. So keep smiling. For anyone who would like not their pictures to be taken, please switch off your camera. Then your names or your thumbnails will not show up for this picture. So if you wouldn't want your picture to be taken for this, please switch off your camera, and yeah, you won't be part of it. Now, I hope that Linda is ready for us. Linda,
yes,
ready for us?
Yes, Karen, I'm ready.
Excellent. Everybody, smile. And if you're wearing your bracelet, please show it. And smile.
Please, can the co-host help on pin Karen as a spotlight so that we can take the pictures? Thank you. Okay, cheese. We are not done yet. We are almost there. Keep smiling. Sorry, we are almost there. Okay, thank you. We are done.
Thank you very much, Linda. Yeah, that's always one of my favorite things to do, taking pictures. And I like that with Zoom, we can do that as well. So Sandrine and myself, we're very happy for this webinar. So we hope that you have enjoyed the webinar. We hope that you learned something new. And if you have questions, if you have any input to the speakers of today or to the Yes Girls or to any of us, please feel free to reach out. So I will give to Sandrine for to close. And the tech team, if they're available with the Red Pride song, then we will close with that as well. Sandrine?
Yes, I mean, let's first look at the song again. We missed the part. Please, tech team, help us with the Red Pride song. Yeah.
Yeah, the Red Pride song, yeah.
If technology doesn't work, I think we have seen the girls that are online. Maybe we can have a live version of the song. Okay, it doesn't look like the video today is not on our site. We will see that. Please follow Yes Girls on social media. I am 100% sure that we will find that video there. But let's give the girls to sing the chorus of the song. Are the girls ready to sing us just the chorus? We're putting you on hotspot.
We are girls and proud, even with the blow. Oh, life has to flow, and we have to glow. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride.
Nothing stops the flow. Hey, when the time is right, we just go with the time, and with all the pride.
Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride.
Friends are mostly blue, feeling down and blue. The stress brings a mood all the time.
Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride. Red, red pride. We are girls.
Well, thank you so much. It would have been missed a lot.
Then the other one, right?
Sorry?
You want the other video also, right?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it? You don't want the closing?
Oh, we have a closing video. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Grace.
Wait.
We are girls and proud, even with the blues. Life has
Thank you so much, Grace. As we come to an end of this enlightening webinar session on the reality of the impact of menstruation or period poverty on mental health, Karine and I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, participants, organizers, and everyone who was involved in this webinar. Our speakers have shared their invaluable insights, research findings, and personal experiences, allowing us to deepening our understanding and of the challenges faced by those affected by period poverty. We have gained knowledge and on the potential psychological and emotional toll that inadequate menstrual hygiene can have, and anxiety and even depression. So I really hope we're going to practice what we've learned here out there. Let's apply what we've learned in our community and workplaces and policy making processes. Let us advocate for accessible and affordable menstrual hygiene products, and let's ensure that no one is forced or to compromise their mental health due to period poverty. I would like to thank you all for making the time and for participating in this amazing webinar. And let's keep the conversation alive. Let's not this end here. Let's just keep going, since we're in a Pride period week. So Karine, unless you want to add anything else, but thank you so much.
Just to say happy Red Week to everyone. It's coming to almost to the end, but happy Red Pride Week.
We are just and proud, even with the blow. Oh, life has to flow, and we have to glow.
Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride, red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride, red, red pride.
Nothing stops the flow. Hey, when the time is right, we just go with the tide, and with all the pride.
Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride, red, red pride. Even when in red, we enjoy the ride, and with all the pride, red, red pride.
Grants are mostly glue, feeling down and blue, the stress